What if one single narrow strip of water suddenly stopped nearly 1/4 of the world's entire oil supply? Fuel prices would skyrocket overnight. Global economies would tremble. Millions of people, from factory workers to farmers, would face immediate hardship. That nightmare is no longer hypothetical. In May 2026, it is unfolding in the narrow abyss, the Strait of Hormuz. Recent clashes between Iranian forces and U.S. naval ships have pushed a fragile ceasefire to its absolute limit. In this documentary, we uncover the full story behind this crisis. A tiny waterway, so narrow you can almost see one country from the shores of another. Yet it controls the lifeblood of the modern world. Located between Iran and Oman, the Strait of Hormuz is only 33 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. It consists of 2 shipping lanes, each 3.7 kilometers wide, with a buffer zone in between. In normal times, nearly 20 to 21 million barrels of crude oil and petroleum products passed through this strait every single day, accounting for roughly 20 to 25% of all seaborne oil trade globally. The majority of this oil flows to Asia, with China alone receiving nearly 38% of the total. There is simply no realistic alternative route that can handle even half of this volume. Alternative pipelines can bypass only a fraction of the total flow, leaving the global energy market vulnerable. How long could our modern, oil-dependent world survive if this critical artery remains blocked? Share your thoughts in the comments. From a fragile ceasefire to fresh military exchanges in a matter of days, how did the situation deteriorate so rapidly? Tensions escalated dramatically in late February 2026, when Iran heavily restricted shipping through the strait. In early May, the United States announced Project Freedom, a naval operation to escort commercial vessels safely. The mission began, but was quickly paused amid ongoing diplomatic talks. On May 7th, 3 U.S. Navy destroyers, USS Truxtun, USS Mason, and USS Rafael Peralta, came under attack involving missiles, drones, and small boats. U.S. forces intercepted the threats and responded with strikes on Iranian military sites. Iranian officials, including Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, stated that the United States had violated the ceasefire first by operating in Iranian territorial waters. They described their actions as legitimate self-defense. President Trump maintained that the ceasefire remains in effect and emphasized that the United States does not seek full-scale war. Pakistan has played a constructive role in facilitating back-channel diplomatic communication between the two sides. In such high-stakes conflicts between major powers, can quiet diplomacy from third countries make a real difference? Let us know your opinion in the comments. When the Strait of Hormuz trembles, the entire world eventually burns. maritime traffic has plummeted to a fraction of normal levels. In some recent days, almost no commercial tankers successfully transited the strait. More than 1,500 vessels remain stranded in the region. Brent crude oil prices, which spiked sharply during the height of the crisis, are currently hovering near $100 to $101 per barrel. One large supertanker can carry as much oil as roughly 10,000 tanker trucks. Asia, which depends heavily on this route, is facing the most severe pressure. Even partial disruptions are already contributing to higher inflation, rising fuel costs, and supply chain strain across continents. How do you see these developments affecting daily life, fuel prices, and the economy in your own country? Please share in the comments. The ceasefire still exists, but it is breathing very weakly. What does the future hold? As of May 9, 2026, the situation remains extremely delicate. Diplomatic efforts continue through multiple channels, while both sides carefully watch each other's next move. History tells us that the Strait of Hormuz has survived many crises before. Yet never has the modern global economy been so dependent on its uninterrupted flow. One narrow sea passage, billions of dollars in daily trade, and the daily lives of millions of people around the world hanging in the balance. The events in the Strait of Hormuz are not just another regional conflict. They serve as a sobering warning about the extreme vulnerability of our interconnected world. If this in-depth documentary kept you engaged until the end, please give it a like, share it with others, and leave your thoughts in the comments. What steps should the international community take to reduce dependence on such dangerous choke points in the future? Subscribe to WeekWise and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly fact-based cinematic documentaries. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay curious.